What's going on, guys? Here it is, my last video about selling the gold stars. This is pretty much the last group of gold stars I have left to sell. There are a few exceptions that I'll show you here. Let me actually grab those. Those are kind of off screen a little bit, but these are the only 3 gold stars that I'm keeping. We got Rayquaza, we got Mewtwo, and we have Charizard. You guys may have heard the stories on those, but I'll kind of recap those at the end of the video on why I'm keeping those. You know, a lot of people understand with the Charizard and Rayquaza, but why Mewtwo? I got a pretty cool story about that. But yeah, the lighting's a little weird. I was messing with some stuff, maybe trying to do a face cam, but I'm like, you know, why do you want to see my face? You just want to see these beautiful cards. We don't want to take away from that. And yeah, this lighting I have at my desk with the lights off, kind of some natural light shining in. It really makes the hollow on these look nice. So I went ahead and decided to record the video with this. First up, we have a Mudkip PSA 9 Gold Star. Beautiful card. This is probably my favorite of all 3 of the starters. Torchic is very hard to grade, so it's one of the more expensive gold stars. But as far as the artwork, I love this. I'm sure a lot of people know. You know, you either know this fact or you're wondering why it's blue. And that's because the artist, Fukuda, actually decided to paint him blue because you can see he's kind of underwater. You can tell by the ripples, kind of the surface of the water on his face. And he decided to make him blue because if you put something that's like pinkish purple underwater at a certain depth, it is blue. So a lot of people in the hobby, you know that little bit of information. But if you don't, you may have been wondering why he is not shiny, but he actually is. He's just submerged under the water. So cool little touch, forethought of that. Although I do think it would be cooler if it was, you know, truly hot pink. But yeah, appreciate the artwork there. Another one that you can't really tell because it's just a different tone of green. It is the Trico. So very cool card here. This is a PSA 7. I think I originally had 2,000 on the Mudkip, but it's going for slightly lower than that. The Gold Star Trico, I'm not exactly sure what I had on this one. Next up, we have a big one. This is from EX Deoxys. I almost wanted to keep these. I really did. But since it's a PSA 5, I'll probably look at upgrading this down the road. But yeah, beautiful Latias here. And wouldn't be any Latias without a Latios. This Latios is a PSA 7. It got a little better. Typically, you see the Latias harder to grade just because the lighter colors and all that. Latios is a little darker, but it does have that white background. So both of them are pretty challenging to grade. But this one is actually pretty nice. I really thought this one could have squeezed by a 9, but they docked those corners down and, you know, a lot of the edge wear down as well. So I was kind of disappointed in this one. When I do collect the gold stars in the future, I kind of want to chase 7s and above. You are seeing some 7, 8, and then obviously the 9 Mudkip in this video. And that's because of that Rayquaza. I guess I'll go ahead and kind of tell you the story on that one now. But essentially, I want to get that in a higher grade to kind of sum it up. So probably looking at buying a Rayquaza 8. And that card gets very expensive. And I do have a couple other Japanese promo grails to collect. So I figured, you know, I might as well sell these lower gold stars or the lesser grade gold stars and actually go for the Rayquaza first and kind of work my way backwards again. So it would be a nice long extended collecting goal to kind of capture all these again. Another one of my favorites here is this Rayquaza. Gyarados, rather. It is Delta species, so it's a fire type, and just having the shiny Gyarados lit on fire, being fire type, you know, shit's fire. What else can you say? So yeah, beautiful card here. Almost wanted to keep that, especially with the PSA label being red. It really pops. Next up, I have two beauties, two twos. These are both PSA 2. I definitely want to keep these in my collection in higher grades, but because they came back twos, these were ones that I had in my binder, but nevertheless, it just made sense to grade them because, yeah, they're just, you know, if you have copies of these, you pretty much guarantee that someone wants them graded. So, yeah, beautiful duo here. I will collect these back in the future, but I will be going for a little higher grade. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, of all the ones I'm selling. I'm actually going to be selling all these through Catch 'em All Collectibles, or Dan, if you know him in the hobby. I'm going to be using the eBay vault there, so he can send these cards to his vault and sell them out of his vault for no seller fees at the moment. So yeah, it's a really good thing to take advantage of while we can to capitalize on that while eBay's trying to get the user base up. But yeah, I'm deciding to keep these three. I did have prices on them, you know, 2,200, I think 1,000. This is a little high just because it was sentimental, and the Charizard 2,000. Pretty good prices, but I don't think I'll be selling these. So the Rayquaza, I'm only holding on to because it's such a rare card. I don't want to get rid of this card unless I have another PSA like 7 or 8 in my hands. And then we have Mewtwo. And the story behind this one is this is literally the card. This exact copy of Mewtwo is the card that got me back into collecting seriously. I think I told this story before where I was at a buddy's house. We always went over there to play Magic, you know, Magic the Gathering. And we got on topic of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all our old binders. And I had, you know, I talked that I started, you know, buying Pokemon packs again and just throwing them in the binder, but not really collecting seriously. And then my friend who was into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time, he's like, well, I'll bring my Pokemon binder over and, you know, you bring your Yu-Gi-Oh! Binder over. Maybe we could swap because I really didn't care about Yu-Gi-Oh! I just wanted Pokemon, and he was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy. So in his Pokemon binder, I can't remember seeing anything that was spectacular. A lot of EX series, though, he was like 2, maybe 3 grades younger than I was. I think he was 2 grades younger than I was. So he kind of came in the Pokemon era a little late in that EX era that a lot of us, you know, OGs missed out on. And in that binder, this Mewtwo was just chilling. And it immediately caught my eye. And I remember nothing else in the binder looked really so like special. And I was like familiar with Pokemon cards, and I just never really considered collecting anything beyond, you know, what I could buy. But here was this Mewtwo, and I knew something was special. I saw that, you know, greenish color to him. I'm like, is that shiny? I'm pretty sure that's shiny. I didn't know they still made, you know, I say still made, even though this set was long gone by the time I talked to him. This is probably around the time of 2011, 2012. So yeah, many years past this, but I'm like, they still made shiny Pokemons like after the Neo sets. And I was like, I'll give you like 20 bucks for that. That's pretty cool. I remember like looking it up on the spot, and it was going for like 25, 30. I'm like, dude, would you take 30 bucks for that? I didn't even know that existed. Long story short, you know, it is already a long story, but I could go on and on about this. This got me thinking, you know, what's that star on that card? Why is it shiny? Why does it pop out of the border and none of the other hollows do? And that essentially led me down the rabbit hole of gold stars. And gold stars became my ultimate chase, even back then in 2011. And they were kind of seen as like just way too expensive to even afford. And then here we are. I've collected them all in a binder. I've had multiple copies. I've graded all these myself. I had a full set. Now I'm selling them. Just everything that I've ever done pretty much has spiraled from the interaction with this card. So yeah, it's pretty awesome, and it's already in an 8, so it'll probably stay in my collection a long time. And this one, kind of the same thing. I was hunting gold stars. I think I bought this in 2012. Somewhere on my Instagram, there's an actual picture of me holding 2 Charizard gold stars, and it still had the price tag on them, and it was like $24.99 for each. So this was a time when this card was like 90 bucks, and I think it was at a V stock in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but yeah, the V stock had Charizard for $24.99 and actually had 2 copies, and it was going for $90 on eBay at the time. I'm like, well, dang, I'm just going to buy this and sell one of them and make my money back, basically get this card for free. So I picked up the better condition one, and I've kept it all these years, and here we are, all these years in the binder, and it's still got an 8. So crazy story there. Got this card for $24.99. This one is weird though. It has like a little dot on the E right there. And I was worried that I was going to get a lower grade because of that, but it actually impressed me. So I have a lot more better quality pictures of these guys on my Instagram that will be leaking out throughout the year. I don't want to, have all the pictures kind of look the same on my Instagram, but yeah, stay tuned for more, guys. I'm going to be selling these, and I'm going to be chasing a better condition Rayquaza Gold Star. And yeah, these guys should be up on Catch 'em All Collectibles consignment in about 2 weeks probably. And yeah, we'll see you guys there. Peace. Also, look at that swirl. Is that not the best swirl? How can I get rid of this thing? That's amazing. All right, peace.